So basically what we're doing here is encapsulating the data, right? You don't want that to be seen. So we are hiding away the data. We're hiding it. So no one except within the class can access these properties here. Okay? Only through a getter and a setter, right? Through the setters, right? So now I'm going to create a constructor, right, for this class. Remember that constructor, it has the same name as the class, right? Now we're going to pass the length, and we're going to pass the height, right? Okay, so guys, if you notice something, we have length here and length here. They have the same name. Okay, so this does not work. I mean, this is not good. Okay, we have to make a difference with them. I mean, there has to be a difference between this one and this one, right? So how do you do that in Java? By putting the word this before length. So what it does is this length refers to the class. That's why you say this. So this refers to the class. So we're saying the length of this class is the same as the length or equals the length that we're passing when we create the object. So if you say cat, right? Cat, new cat, right? And we say 23.5 and 44.7, right?
Why 23.5?
Yeah, they're int. Sorry. So if you do that, I don't know why, because the length should be a double, but it doesn't matter. That's okay. All right. So I put length here anyways. So I could have put double. So this length here is the one that I'm passing when I create the object. And this length here would be this one. So whatever I'm passing is going to be assigned to this guy, right? So in other words, this is going to be 23, okay? Because this length is 23, right? But we have to make the difference between the one that belongs to the class and the one that's being passed in the object. So now in the case of the height, you see they have different names, you see? This is height and this is the height. Then we can go ahead and say this. Height equals the height. Okay, that's fine because they have different names, right? If they have the same name, it's a good practice to use this dot that refers to the class that we are working on. Okay?
I noticed that this application now, the private length is not being change of color than this dot length. Yeah, I find that interesting.
Yeah, in the same
highlights it.
In the defense of color, as you're not passing the color here, we can just give it a value. Right? So we have the three values. We have the length, which is 23. We have the height, that is 45, and the color is white. Okay? If you're not passing that in the arguments of the constructor, then you can go ahead and give it the value here or somewhere else in the class. Okay? So now I can have another method and say public void print info, and then say sysout cat length, right, equals this length, right, which refers to this one, to the one from the class, right? And we can say plus height equals, and in this case we can say height, because we assigned it here. We didn't put this dot length, right? Because these names were different. And we can say color equals what? Color. You see? Not difficult. Okay? So right now, we can have another class right here. And call it class constructor. Constructors.
It's already a class called class constructor.
See if it works this way. So now, if I have this guy and say this guy, and we say cat that print info, and we run this guy, we get cat length 23, height 45, color white. Okay? So as simple as that. Okay, we cannot do this, right? We cannot do that because we don't have any constructor that matches this, right? We don't have any constructor that matches this. But what if you do this? What if you do this? Right? Right? And then here we have to say this.color. Right? Now, if we say color gray, and then we say dog, that print color, then we get this. Okay? Color equals gray. Okay? So you guys understanding? Yes?
Maybe.
Maybe? So what is it that you don't understand? What is it that you don't understand? Completely.
Oh, I found it. Print color. I didn't see the print color. And I said, where is he getting that from? In the bottom.
So that's how you do, your class constructors, right? So you create the constructor. Now, if there's no constructor given to you, Java will provide one for you by default, the default one, which is without any, like this, right? Java will provide one without that. But in this case, as we have one, right, we have no choice but provide an argument because this one has an argument. Okay, so we have to pass it. Okay. Perfect.
What happens if you leave it blank? Can you go down for one moment?
Here, I get an error. Because there's no, I mean, if I provide one, it will look for that one. It will look for that one. If I don't provide any, it just accepts that. If I just comment this out, And if I don't put anything here, it accepts that. That's the one by default that is provided by Java, right? But if I provide one, then it has to match. I provided one, okay? And that's the next class that we're gonna create, the default constructors.
Can you pass a null at all?
Which one? Pass null?
Uh-huh.
Well, empty is not null. Empty is not null. Here I can pass null because I have a string.
So it did accept the null. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because a string can be equals to null. The default value of a string is null.
It's null. I know.
Yeah, don't forget the color is an object of the class string. Okay. But if I have the default constructor, let's see if I do this, then I get an error because empty is empty. It doesn't mean null. Right? Good. So let's create another one and let's call it default constructor. Okay. Default constructors. Okay. So I can create this class and then I can say maybe public. Public default constructor. And then I can, or actually, I don't have any default constructor. I don't have anything. It's just provided by Java. Okay, so I can say private string first name, and then I can say private string last name, and then I can say private int age. Okay. Now I can say generate getters, and I can say generate. I should have put getters and setters. All right, I'm gonna put getters and setters. Generate getters and setters of these guys. And then I have a getter and setter, right? Okay, I'll default constructor. So now I can say class test default constructor. And then I can say PSVM. I can say that the first name is, let me create a default constructor. Default constructor equals default constructor. You see, this is provided for Java, by Java for me. I don't have to put anything. It's already there. I didn't create anything, but it's already there. So now I can say DC that set first name, and I can pass Maria. I can say DC set last name, the pen, and I can say DC age. Let's set age 24. Okay. So now if I want to print that, I can say print. I just use the same object and I call the method set name, right? I can say get name, right? Get first name. Then I can put a line break, right? So it shows in the next line. I can do DC get last name. I can put another line break, right? And I can do DC get age, and I get that. All right. So I'm just getting the information from this class by just creating an object of that class, instantiating that object, right? And then I can create the values here, give it the value by calling the set first name, set last name, set age from here, right? And then I just call those methods that can get me that and return the age, return the last name, and return the first name. And then if I run this guy, right, I just get Maria de Pena 24. Okay. I could have done this if I want to. Right. Okay. Could have done that as well if I want to. So let me put
change, it. Hold on.
Yeah,
can you paste it back? Paste it back?
Yeah, I'm gonna paste it back.
He said last name Junior. He said last name Otano.
Yeah, this is first.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then this is copy. Okay. So now I can say system out, right? And I can say new default constructor that gets first name, and then the same thing, and then new default that get last name, okay. and then I can do the same here. I think, yeah, I can do this, and then new default constructor, then get age. Okay, let's see what happens. I get no. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. No values. Okay. So this is more common for all the scenarios. Not for this one. Okay. Just in case you want to call a specific method, like.
You have. Could it be that you need to instantiate the new default? Can you go down?
Just give me 1 second. Right. So now if I do this one here, like new default, and then print result. Right. So this is more for this kind of scenario. Okay. Then, so we don't, I mean, not for setting values, but you can call it method, right? Because we don't have to actually instantiate an object like this, like having an object as such. You can simply constructor, which actually is calling the class, and then from that class you can get the result method right here. Okay, so this is not quite effective for this, right? But for this, it is. Okay. Um, with this, it works. Okay, but actually to get the values, and that is part of the encapsulation. Imagine if you don't, if you can do directly the other way like this. So you have to do something like this to be able to get it through the getters. Okay, I have an actual object here. Okay, don't forget that if you make this method static, like if I make this method static, I don't have to instantiate the class. I can simply put the class name dot the variable. Like for example here, I can say public static void print static content, right? And then I can say this out static, right? I can go ahead and do this default, and then go ahead and print static content. Right? And then if I run this, I get static, right? Because I'm making this method static, so I don't have to instantiate the class. I can simply use the class and call the method, like we did last week. Okay. So this doesn't work because the method is static, and this is like sort of instantiating the class because you're calling the constructor. Okay. Here we're calling just the content, static content of this particular method, so we can simply use the class name and then access that static content. Right? And it's a good thing we can call it from here because the main method itself is static. Okay, so you can call a static context from a static context. Okay, so that will be about default constructor. Okay, I didn't create any constructor in this class, so I can simply, invoke the constructor that is there provided by Java, and that's the default one. Okay? So I hope you guys understand this. Okay. Okay, so here in the dog class, in the dog class here, where is the dog class? Dog class. I have a constructor here, but it's not the default constructor. It's just a constructor that I created. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about overloading of constructors. Now we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to just create a class, and the class is going to be named canine. Okay. I want to say dog again. Okay. So now this class, we're going to have a private string name, private string breed and private string weight. Well, actually double, so double. Okay. 3 private properties. Okay. Now, I will do this. Okay. I will create a constructor. Let's say dog, and I'm going to pass or receive a string. Well, actually, it's not dog. It's canine. Okay. Has to be the same name of this class. Okay. And this one is going to be, this is out, I'm going to say constructor 1. Okay. Right, constructor 1. Now I'm going to have another constructor, but this time it's going to be public canine, and this one is going to have the same name and everything the same except the parameters or the arguments of the constructor. Okay, that's what we saw the other day as overloading. It's going to be the same name, the amount of parameters is different, and the return type is different. But constructors don't have a return type. Okay, so what we saw in the other class is that we saw methods, right? This time we're seeing constructors. Constructor is a method, but a constructor doesn't have a return type. A method does. It could be void or integer or double. It has to have a return type. Okay. So, guys, how can I call a constructor inside a constructor? That's a good question that we're going to answer right away. Okay. This cannot be done. I mean, this would be kind of, if I want to call this one, right? This one, maybe I want to say name, pass this name here, right? And then I'm going to say the breed is Husky, for example, right? This doesn't work. It's usually how you call a method by just invoking the method using the name. No, this doesn't work. Okay. The word that you can use for that is the word this. Okay. So this will be calling, and it has to be before anything, it has to be the first statement. So we'll be calling a constructor from a constructor. Okay. That's why this immediately turned green. So if I put comment here, it goes back to gray because it's on call, it's not invoked yet. Like this one, constructor is never used. Constructor is never used. But if I just do this, the constructor is immediately used. It doesn't have this great thing anymore. This will match any single constructor that has this signature. So far, what is the one that has a name and a breed? This one. So it matches this one. Okay? This one will call, whenever you call this constructor from another class, it will call immediately this one and then print this one, constructor 1. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Now let me have the other constructor, and let me say this, and this one is going to call another constructor. It's going to have name, right? This name here is going to have the breed. In this case, it's going to say breed. And then it's going to pass another value, which is the weight. Okay? So now I have to create another method, another constructor that matches that signature. Okay? So I'm going to say, let's say string name, string breed, and double weight. Okay? And immediately the error disappeared. Okay? So this guy here matches this signature here. Right? It matches. This is what we're doing, guys. What we're doing here is just calling a constructor within a constructor. Okay? Remember that constructor is a special method. It's not the same as the other methods. Okay. Now, let's say this out constructor 2. Okay. So this one was constructor 1, constructor 2. Okay. So right here, we're gonna say this dot name. Remember this dot name. Well, last we did before equals name, right? Because this dot name refers to the name of the class, then the property in the class. And this name here is whatever we're passing when we call this constructor, which is this name here, which is this name here. You see, it's a chain of callings, right? Now we're gonna have this breed equals breed. And we say this weight equals weight, right? And we say sysout constructor 3. Okay. And then we just have another method. Say just print, simple method, where we're gonna print the breed, the name, the breed, and the weight. Okay, so we say this out. We say name plus space plus breed plus space plus weight. Okay. So we're calling first, we're calling a constructor. Then the constructor will call any constructor inside. Then at the end, when everything is done, if we invoke this method, we're gonna print the name, the breed, and the weight. Okay, so right now, we're gonna create another class, and we're gonna say class overloading constructor. Okay. Constructors. Now we're gonna say our main method, right? And then we're gonna say dog canine, not dog, canine 1 equals new canine, and then we're gonna say Jimmy. So guys, what do you think is gonna call which constructor of these 3? This one, and this one. Which one do you think is gonna call? The first one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the one that matches. Is the one that matches. And immediately it's gonna pass Jimmy and Husky to this one, right? Is Jimmy and Husky. And then it's gonna say Jimmy, Husky, and 30. It's gonna call this one and say Jimmy, Husky, and 30. And then it's gonna say Jimmy is assigned to name, Husky is assigned to breed, and 30 is assigned to weight. It's gonna say constructor 3, and then when we call this guy, it's gonna say Jimmy, Husky, 30. Look the chain. It's a great chain here. Crazy chain, right? That's gonna be our first. So we're gonna say canine 1 print, right? So if we call this guy canine, right? See what happens.
Why did it call constructor 3 first?
Of course, because remember, when you do this, it comes here. Mm-hmm. It doesn't get to this, and then it calls the other one, and then it prints number 3 and goes back and prints number 2, which was the second one I called, and then the third one. Do you guys understand it? Let me debug this. Okay, let me debug it. Okay, let's do it. Let's see it with the debug. Okay, so let's debug it. Okay, so let's do this. Wait. No, not here. Not here. One moment. Let me remove this breaking point from here. And let me put the breaking point here. Okay. And let me run it now. Debug it. Okay. Stop and return. Okay. Okay. So now I do this, right? Okay. Oh. Okay. So maybe somewhere here. Here. See, how is that? Oh, I just ran it. I need to debug it. All right. So we get here, Genie. Then the next line, it will call this guy, right? And then Jimmy, it's too fast. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Hold on. Let me stop this guy. Okay. Let me stop this. Okay. So when you call this guy, right? When you call this guy and you pass Jimmy, right? You're calling the constructor that matches this guy, right? So you come down here, I'm up here, and then you're calling this guy, right? This is the one that matches Jimmy. The first line is gonna come to this constructor, right? It doesn't even print anything because the first line is a call this constructor, right? Now, when it gets to this constructor, it's gonna make a call to the other constructor. It doesn't print this. And then it comes here, assigns all the values, and print constructor 3, right? Then it comes back to the last constructor that called and prints 2. And then it goes back and prints 1. And then when you do this guy, right, this next line, it prints this method. That's why you see Jimmy Husky 30. You guys see it? Yes or no?
Yeah, the thing is the order of the calling. So it's calling before it actually prints. It goes from the bottom. It calls 1, but 1 calls 2, and then 2 calls 3, and then it comes back and then it prints.
Right. Because
right. That's the way. That is the way it's executing the lines.
Correct. So when 1 calls 2, it executes the line, but this line is not executed until it.
So if you move the sys out before the disk,
you can't. The first line has to be this one.
Oh, the first line has to be this. Okay.
It doesn't let you put anything before. It tells you call to this must be first statement in the constructor body.
Okay, got it.
So it has to be the second one. Okay. So it calls this one, then it comes to this one, then it calls this one. Then it goes back and executes the second line of this one. Then it goes back and executes the second line of this one. Because this is all pending. When you call these guys, this one is pending until it comes back. When it calls the third guy, this one is pending until it comes back. So it executes this one completely. It goes back, this was pending, executes this one, and this was pending, executes this one. And then finally, it executes this one, printing the values because you call the method later. If I don't call this method, this line is never, this result, this output is never shown. This output is shown because I am invoking that print method here. Right? Nice. So that's the first one. Let me do the other one. I'm going to create canine 2. Canine 2. Let's see a little different order of execution now. Canine 2, new canine. And then let me pass Anthony and Shepherd. Okay. Okay. In this case, I'm going to say Shepherd like this. Is that, no, it's not like this. Shepherd. Okay. You see, now it's going to invoke which constructor?
Number 2.
Number 2, right? So now I'm going to say canine 2, print. Let's see what happens now. One is never called. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything starts at number 2, right? At number 2, so everything goes down. This one is never executed because this is never called. Okay. So I can do the same with canine 3, and I guess guys, you already know what's going to happen. This time we're going to pass Rex, German, Shepherd, and then 40. And then canine 3, print. Okay, so now we do this, and now we get constructor 3 and Rex, German Shepherd, because this one matches constructor 3, the signature. And then it will print this guy at the end of that constructor, and then this method will be called and print this, right? So this is constructor overloading. You can have the same name, and then you can have different arguments or different parameters. Okay, if you have the same parameter, it would just give you a problem. Like if I do this, it says that already exists, right? It's already defined, right? So I have to have something different to be able to achieve this, or what I'm trying to achieve, okay? Which is constructor overloading. Okay. So now I can have another class, right? And call it person. Another class and call it person. And then in the person, I can have a private string first name, and private last name. And then I can have a constructor of the class person. And say this Eric and Johnson. And then I can say public, another constructor, person. And I can say string, first name, string, last name, right? This already works, right? By calling a construction with the word this, the keyword this. And then we can say this first name equals first name. First name. And in the case of last name, can you guys tell me what I do here? In the case of last name? So what would I do here? Can you guys tell me?
This dot last name equal last name.
Okay, that makes sense. What if I do this?
Now it's not the same. So it will have to be, so it will be this last name equal last.
Are you sure? Do they have the same name?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So what do we do?
Last. Yes, this dot last name equal.
Do we need the this?
No, you don't. Last name equal last.
Perfect.
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
This is only if it has the same name.
Correct. Okay. So I can have a setter here and say void. The void is the type, the return type. Don't forget that. Set first name, and then we say string first name, right? And then what do we do here? Do we do this, or do we do first name equals first name?
We will set first name, string first name.
First name, like this.
This. No. That's it. Yes.
Yeah, because they have the same name, right? They have the same name. Okay. What if I do this? You say must be first in the constructor. And this is not a constructor.
So you cannot have.
You cannot do it in another place that is not a constructor. Okay. So maybe here I can say this, right? And then we have here recursive constructor. I'm calling the constructor itself. All right, because the constructor is already here, right? It has the same name here. So I'm just calling constructor invocation. Okay, you have this here and this here. Okay, not good. This is
so
recursive.
if you leave it like that, what is it gonna do? If you do this, yes, like that, what is it going to do? Is it gonna go back to the person on the top?
It gives you an arrow. It's just telling me here, right here. It says recursive.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what it's doing.
Okay. So now I can say public string get first name. And then we can say return first name. Okay. First name. Right. We can also say public string. We are returning a string, right? We can say return first name plus last name. Okay? Returning a string here. Now, if we do this, right? Also makes sense, right? This one shows because it's unreachable. So we have to comment it out. You can do this if you want to, right? You can do it if you want to, right? Now, if we create a method, a poly method, this guy, then we can do and say, for example, we can say person, new person.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can say person, set first name, we can say Dunieski. Right? The person, get first name, get that, right? Then we say here result is ignore. Why? Because we have to
insert.
Correct. We have to either print it or store it in a variable. So we can say this is out and then do this, right? Now it's not ignore. Okay. And now we can also say we never had a set last name anywhere. Okay. So we don't have a last name here anywhere. So we can just go ahead and get just set the last name. So we can say public void set last name. We pass a string last name. And then we say this last name equals last name, right? And we can say a getter to get that particular guy, say string, right? Get last name, and then we can say return this that last name. I'm sorry. Return this that last name. Okay. So we can do that as well. And now we can say person dot set last name. And then we can say Otano. And here we can say sys out person get last name, right? So if we run this guy, we can see we get Dunieski Otano. That's perfect, right? We can also eliminate this guy, right? And then we still get Dunieski Otano, okay? Because this obviously refers to this last name. Okay? Now, if I just say person dot get full name here, then I'm gonna get this guy here.
I'm gonna see that. Are you printing it? You're not printing it.
No. See here? And now we do this. What's going on here?
You haven't printed out.
Yeah, I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. Is that this is ignored, right? So I have to put this inside this out,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then you just get Nunez Quintano. But this guy is better because, see, uh, I get a space here, okay? But I can simply remove these guys, right? And I still get the same result, okay? So this is just concatenation of two strings, all right? I can do this, or I can simply say full name, right? Equals person full name, okay? And now I can print full name. Same thing, right? What do you mean typo? Oh, doesn't matter. It's just a warning. I get doing the SQL 10 or 2 times. So I can either store it in a variable and print the variable, or I can simply the method call and print it. You know, same thing. All right. So this is, you know, about getting this constructor to work and object um, instantiation, creation of a class, and things like that. Okay. So let's see another class. This is a little, let's see something a little more confusing, but it's very important. Okay. So I
Go
will have,
back. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back.
let
Stop.
me create this class. Let me create this class. I have it here already. Okay. Okay. Tell me.
So I saw something here. Go down, please. Is that the end of it?
Yeah. There's nothing else.
Why? Why is the full name, string full name equal person full name?
Mm-hmm. That's the method here.
Go down again.
I created an object of that class person, and then I'm invoking that method using the object.
I see. Okay, got it.
Right. So I have the order of initialization here. Right. So now I'm going to create a private string, private variable. I'm going to say private string name equals dog. Okay. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to have a block here and say sys out name. Okay. Just a block. Okay. Like you have a static block, a non-static block is a block. Okay. Now I'm going to say private static int count, okay, equals 0. Okay, just a static variable, static integer. And then I can say static, this is a static block, and print count. Okay, static block to print count. Let me put this like this, so it looks better. Now I'm going to say and say count plus 10, right? As I said, this is out count. What we're trying to see here, guys, is just the order of initialization when you run this program, what's going to be printed first. Okay. Now we can say public and then a constructor. Okay? And then I can say, this is out constructor. Okay? Now I can have a class called demo. And say static and add to. Okay. And here I'm going to say public void static void add int number, and this out number. Okay. So we are creating a class demo. We have a static block, and then in the static block we call this method add. We pass the number 2, and we print the number 2. Okay. Now I'm going to have a constructor in this class. Constructor is demo, right? And then in the constructor, I'm going to say add 5, right? Constructor. And then I'm going to have a static block and say add 4. Okay. And then another block, just a simple block, and we say add 6. Right? And then we have another static guy, and we say new demo. Okay, so we're calling this constructor of the class here. Okay, and it's just calling this guy. Okay, so it's a little too much, but for you guys to see what loads first. And then we have another block, and we add 8. Right? And then we're going to say class test, right? We want to say PSVM, and we say okay. And now we say new order of initialization, and then new demo. Let's see what happens. Okay.
What a mess.
Yeah. Let's see what happens now. Yeah. Look at that. So, so the first one is static count. You see here? 0. Right? Then it prints dog. Here. Name. Then it will print 10. Right? Then it prints constructor. So that's the first class. So that's the first class. That's the first call here. This one here. So the first ones to load are the static blocks. So you here, you got 0, and then you got dog here. So Static is the first one, right? The static is the first one. And then it brings the normal, the regular blocks, which is dog, and then here, 10. And then the constructor. So the first one will be the static. So this one is first block to execute, right? Static. Then this is an instance block. This is just second block to execute, right? Then third block to execute. And then the constructor is the last block. So as you can see, constructor is the last block to execute. This is so weird because basically you are calling the constructor. You see, you're calling the constructor, you're calling that class. What in the world, why in the world the constructor is the last element to load? Well, we should ask the person that invented Java. Okay, but that's the way it works. The static block will print first, then the instance blocks, and then the constructor. Okay, so in this case, we have to, this is the first block to execute, first block to execute, right? Then you have 4, which is static here, another static, you see, static is first, second block to execute, right? And then you have 6, then it starts with the instance blocks, right? Third block to execute. And then you have 8, which is the normal one, right? Because it will call the class again. So we have here 8, right? 8. This is the fourth one, right? Fourth. Then we have 5, because it calls this guy again. It's right here, 5. So this is the 5th block to execute. And then we have 6 again. It calls this guy again. And this is the 6th block to execute again. And then it gets 8.
Why is it calling it again?
Because you call the method here. You call the class again. So you're calling the class here, right?
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And then it executes this static guy, calls the
That's
method
2.
again.
So that's 2. So that would be 6, 8. And where is the 5 coming from?
What 5? This one?
No.
Oh, the last one?
6. New demo, right? It's being called.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go up, new demo, it's how much, demo, what's the value of demo?
Demo is this.
4, 5. 5.
Demo 5.
So that's 1. And then you have new demo down below. And you could.
But don't forget that the demo is the class.
Yeah, I know.
Demo is not the constructor. The constructor is the last element of all. You are calling the class, not the constructor. Right? So you're calling the class and it follows the order again, like static, instance, and constructor. That's why you get the constructor is the last. You get 5 here and 5 here. So it will print these guys that are instances, right? And then the constructor. at the end. Remember, is first is the static, then the instance blocks, and then the constructor. It doesn't matter if you call the constructor here, that's going to be the last one in executing. The last one. So that's the order of initialization, right? It's static blocks, instance blocks, and then the constructor. Constructor is the last one to execute. Okay. So whenever you see static instance blocks, an instance block is without anything. It doesn't have the static keyword. The first one that loads is the static. The second one is the instance, and then the constructor. Okay? Don't forget that. And this is repeated here because you call the constructor again. Okay? Beautiful. Is it beautiful? Sometimes beautiful things are crazy. Eh?
Mm.
Do I have anyone else here other than Maria?
I'm going to
Anyone?
say, I need a break.
Me too. Okay. So guys, let's take a break and let's be back here at what time is it? 7:53 at 7:05. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. Let me create a class name company. Okay. And then in this class, I'm going to create a private string name. Okay. And then I'm going to create a private list of strings. Okay. And then I'm going to call it employees. And then new array that we did before. Right? So I have two private properties. I have a string and I have a list of strings. Okay. Now I'm going to create a method called print sorted. Okay. And it has a void return type. Okay. So I'm going to say system out company name equals name. Right. Company name equals name. I'm going to say collections. Remember collections to sort a list, collection sort, and then we pass the list employees. Okay. And then we say this out, sorted. We say employees. Right. So just like we did before. Now we're going to create a setter. We're going to say public void set name. And then we're going to pass a name, just like we did before. Okay. Now we say if name equals null, right? We're going to say sysout name cannot be null. Okay. Just a simple execution of this if statement. And then we say return. Okay. We don't move anymore. We just put return. And if that's not null, then we say this name equals name. Okay. Just in case this is not null. Okay. So all of these guys are gonna be subjected to whatever is this here. If it is true, this guy is like this, and if it is false, then this happens. Okay. Now I'm gonna say public string. We're gonna return the name, and we say return name. Right? Perfect. Return name. Okay. Now we say another one. Say public void add employee. Okay. We pass a name. Right? And it will say if the name is null or name is empty, then we say sysout a string can be null or empty. Okay, that's why we do that. Cannot, then we say we can't add a null employee. Okay. Right? And if this is false, Then we say else, and we say employee, add name. Okay? So something like this. I don't know if you guys understand what I did here. First of all, I'd like to know if you're still here.
I'm here.
Yes, so we're saying, when we call this method print sorted, it's gonna bring and print the name, because the name is gonna have a value, okay? It's gonna sort the employees list, and it's gonna print the sorted employee list. When we call set name, we're gonna say if the name is not null, then we're gonna say this name equals name. If it is null, then we're gonna say, well, I'm sorry, name cannot be null. Okay. When we get the name, we're gonna return the name, whatever name this is, whatever name is assigned to this name. Now, if we call this method employee, we're gonna say if name, because we're passing a name, right? If name is null or the name is empty, the string is empty, because we can have a name like this, right? Like this. That's an empty string, okay? If it is empty or null, you can say string name null, right? Or simply this, right? Of course, it cannot be outside anything, right? But you can put it maybe here and say no, name equals null or empty string, okay? So if the name is like that, then you cannot add an empty string to a list or a null employee to the list. Else, then we add the name. Okay, as simple as that. Right? So that's all for this class. Let me create another class. Right? And let me call it class encapsulation or data encapsulation. Okay. And then we're gonna say company, new company. So we create an object of the class company, right? We're gonna say company, oh, so company, then we're gonna say set name, and we're gonna name my company. Okay, that's the name of the company. Now we can say company, add employee, and then we can say John. Right? We're passing in a John name. Now we can say company, add employee again, and we say Anthony. And we can say company, add employee, and we're gonna pass null. Okay, the name is gonna be null. And then we say company, add employee, and then we pass empty string. Okay. Now we say company, set name, null, right? Company set name null, set name here. If it is null, then you're gonna print this guy. Okay, so we said null, and we say company, print sorted. Okay, so let me run this guy, let's see what happens. And then we get this result here. So we set the name, we added the name John, we added the name Anthony, and then when it comes here, right? When it comes here, so this guy, we added this guy here null. So we say if it is null, then we're gonna print an employee right here, right? Now we're adding a second one, but it's an empty string. So we say if it is empty, or if it is empty, then we say we cannot add this. Then we're setting the name null. We say here in set name, if the name is null, the name cannot be null. We get it here, right? And then we say print sorted, okay? When we call print sorted, right? We have company name equals my company because we pass my company here, right? And then we say employees sorted. We print the employees and we have Anthony first and then John, okay? Even if we pass, well, actually we pass John prefer first and then Anthony, it just sorted and does it this way and get it this way. Okay, so what is the point of this exercise? It's just showing the encapsulation of data. Okay, so we're using this private thing here, private. It means that only the elements within that class can access those properties. But here, we're calling from a different class, and we're accessing or setting the values using the settings, the setter, and the setter here. And then we can access the values through methods that are public. So this method is public, this method is public, this method, but we cannot access these properties directly. Okay, we can only use them by setting values. Okay. And that's the way it works. So do you guys understand this?
Yes.
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 Yes, yes, yes.
We're gonna do one more exercise, and then Maria, you're gonna be delighted in doing an exercise by yourself, like we did the other day.
Okay.
So we're gonna do. I'm gonna explain one more.
Do I need to have IntelliJ installed because I'm working on a different machine today.
Well, maybe if you can't, someone else can, and you can help.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about inheritance. Okay. So, I can have a class. Just let me have a class animal. Okay. Just a class named animal. A pretty common class when people want to.
Can't you do flowers?
I'm sorry?
Can you do flowers?
Yeah, that's possible too. But I don't know why people always use animal when they want to explain.
Oh my God, use flowers. It's so much better.
Well,
flowers. I hate this dog canine thing. Sounds very male chauvinistic, you know?
Yeah, okay. I don't know why people always choose animals when they want to explain inheritance in programming. Okay, so I'm gonna have the constructor here, and I'm gonna say animal int age. I'm gonna say this out animal, just the constructor like we did before, and then we say this age equals age. Okay, just like we did before. This age here equals this age. Okay, in other words, this age here is going to be assigned to this age because we're going to call the constructor and pass a number like 5, 10, depending on the age of the animal, right? We're going to create another class called cat, okay? Class called cat, okay? Let me call another class here, create it, and let me call it cat. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I think that I have cat already. Let's say, is this a correct word? Uh,
See why you need flowers?
yeah, let's see if I can create feline.
Fox. Use fox. Fox.
Yeah, let me see because I already have prepared this with different animals. Let me see if I can use fox. One moment. I have to use feline. Different one. Oh my God, this is so weird. So feline. Okay. And then I would say that feline extends animal.
Go on.
So in other words, one moment, just give me 1 second. I will create that for you. Okay. I will create the constructor, don't worry. Okay. And the constructor, I'm gonna pass age. And then I'm gonna say super age. So why? Because we have to call the super constructor, the constructor of the parent. And the constructor of the parent is int age. So we can use the word super, right, to refer to the constructor of the parent, the father. And the father is the animal class. So this extends, what it does is just, it says that feline is inheriting properties and methods
From animal.
from animal. Okay, that's what it's saying, right? So you have to have this that matches that. Okay, you can have your own one to say int or string name, right? You can have your own here, but you have to call the parent one. All right, you have to call the parent one. If you don't have this, you're gonna get an error. Okay, so whenever you inherit, you have to call the parent constructor or the constructor of the parent. And this one has H. If the constructor has, for example, string breed, right? Then you have to come here feline and add breed. You see? Okay. Okay. Age and breed. Why is it not resolving to this? Create constant field, more actions. Reference, parameters, and some sort of lines. Create constant field, field breed, infill. Okay. So if I put this, okay, just 1 second here. Oh, yes. So I have to put maybe this one here. And then this breed.
String. Private string breed.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And this one, yeah. Still not getting this. Okay. And how about age? They're both private. Okay, I'm extending this. Okay. Yeah. Read. Uh, and then we can have another one to say string name. All right. So what it does, it has to match this guy here. It has to match. Yours has to match too. Okay. Remember you're inheriting, and then you can have an extra one if you want to. But this one has to match the parent. Okay. So an explanation here, just in case. Let me just put it the way it was before, just in case you want to add another one. Okay. So that is how inheritance works. So I'm going to put here H, and here let me put H as it was before. Okay, perfect. So we're just inheriting from that particular class animal, and then we have to call the super, which is the constructor of the parent. Okay, perfect. So let me now create another class, and this time the class is going to be why not create another package and call it inheritance? So I don't have this mess here. So I can say, no, creating a package, and let me call it inheritance. So I don't have that mess there. And then I can just, where are the guys? Okay, class design. Let me move animal to inheritance. Right? Let me move feline to inheritance. And let me move, that's it. That's it. So let me close this guy and let me open this guy here, inheritance. So I have these guys here, right? And I will name this guy. Let me copy this guy, and I will, you know, call it cat. So I'm gonna delete this class, and I want to make it more, you know, understandable. So they are in different packages. Doesn't matter if they have the same name. So now I'm gonna say extend animal, and then I'm gonna say public cat, cat, and then I'm gonna say super. That's fine. Eliminate this guy, and that's it. Okay. Now I have cat. So let me create another one named dog. Okay. And then the dog is gonna be similar to the cat, but this guy, we're going to extend animal as well. Extends animal, right? And then I'm gonna create the default constructor because it's, I don't have a chance, so I have to do it. And now I have to say super H if I want to make this, you know, okay. And now I want to say sys out and print dog. Okay. Good. Right. So in the cat, I didn't print anything. In the dog, I printed dog. Okay. So now I'm going to create another class and name it Husky. Okay. Husky. And the Husky is going to extend dog. Okay. Dog. And then I'm going to create the constructor Husky. and I'm gonna have int age, and we're gonna say super age. We still have to call the parent super age, and we're gonna say this out husky, right? So we have cat that inherits animal, right? Cat inherits animal, dog inherits animal, and husky inherits dog, extend dog. Okay? So cat extends animal, dog extends animal, and husky extends dog. Okay? Now a final class is going to be a class named main. Okay? Now the main class is going to do the following. Very simple. It's going to say husky, okay, PSVN. It's going to say husky equals new husky, and then false. As simple as that. Okay, we're just creating an object of the class husky, but remember the husky stands dog, and dog stands animal. Okay, let's see what happens. So if I just run this guy, I get animal, dog, husky. Okay, so if I get this guy, husky, and I access that, I don't get anything because there's nothing there. Okay, but if I come to husky, husky is going to be printed. But first, we have to call what? The constructor of the parent, right? And then the constructor of dog calls the constructor of the animal, right? And then when animal comes, it prints animal, right? And then it prints dogs, and then it prints husky, right? I don't know if you understand it, guys. It's similar to the initialization that we did before. Okay, so this is out husky is age years old. Okay, so we do this, and we say husky is 5 years old. This 5 is coming from the main class. Okay, we're passing this age here, right? And we're calling husky. But remember that before you print anything, it's gonna call the superclass, which is the parent of husky, which is dog. Then after all this happened, all of the chain of calls there, then you print husky in this. So again, main will create an object and pass number 5, right? Is called the class husky. Husky will come here and call the constructor, but the first thing that it does is just passes the age. Remember that we're passing number 5. It passes the age here to super. When super calls, it's gonna call dog because it stands dog. Call, it passes here number 5. Then it calls the super, passing number 5. It comes here and it prints system out print animal. It just prints animal. Then it goes back and prints dog. Then it goes back and prints husky and 5 years old. Okay. Now, if I do this, let's see what happens. If I do this, this is out. Animal is age years old. Let's see what happens. You see? Okay. Now, if I do the same with dog, I can do this. and I can say dog is this. Now, if I print this, I get that, and that. Because I'm passing age all over, you know, the chain of commands here from the guys that extends dog, from the guys that extends animal, and then I get to animal, and then when I print animal, I go back and print the dog, and then I go back and print the husky. Okay, so this is inheritance. Okay, we are extending a class, and of course, we can pass things to the class. So if I have in dog here, let's say that in dog, I have public void print, and I say, this is out. My name is, right? And then we can have private string name Cuba. So I can say my name is name. All right. No. Yes. So, okay. No, I was trying to do this not in dog, in animal. In animal, not in dog. So I can do this in animal, right? Okay. So in dog, I can have this print result. You see? And I inherit that from this guy. Okay? I'm inherited from this guy. So I can just run it and I get I have to call from here, I have to say husky that print. Okay? And then if I say that, again, my name is Cuba, right? So look at this, how interesting this is. I don't have husky here. I don't have print here. I don't have printing dog either, but I can override dog print. It's coming from animal, right? It's coming from animal. I can override it. Okay. So I call the super, which is the parent class, the print from the super class, and then we'll print it, right? But I am using husky to call that method. Okay. I'm using husky to call that method. And then when it comes here, remember that you would call the super class, which is dog. And then it comes here and prints print. Okay? So maybe I can override this and say this out, hello from dog. Okay? So now if I print this, I get hello from dog. Okay? You see, it's overriding that method. That's method overriding. You can override the parent method. Okay. Right? So you can do this. Super. Print. And then you get both here. Okay. So simply you can do the same here. Right? And then you can say hello from husky. You see, when you print this, you get this guy because it's the first one that is called. You're calling Husky for the first place. Okay, but what if you do this super? What if you do this super print? Right? What are we gonna call now? We're gonna get the three of them. Okay, because it's kind of it's kind of unique the way that inheritance works. We're calling print, right, from Husky. But remember, the Husky inherits everything from dog, right? Husky is a child dog. Now we can override that method, right? You can override that method. If I do this, I get this. So you can override that method, and it's telling me here that this method, you see this symbol here, is telling me that this is coming from dog, right? So we're calling the print from dog, which is hello from dog. And at the same time, we're printing the print from Husky. But when you call the print from dog, it's printing the print from animal. My name is Cuba. And it's printing the hello from dog. So I can change this and say hello from animal. Okay. Let me delete this guy. I don't need it. Okay. Now if I print this, I get hello from animal, hello for dog, hello for Husky. Okay. So we are inheriting the stuff from these guys. So what if I do, can I do, let me have, if I have name, age, maybe, can I do Husky age? Like maybe, is out. My age is age. No. No, because that's private. This animal here is private. This age here is private. If I make it public, then that's a different ball game. I have age there. Is this out? Age? Maybe. Right. It comes from age. So we say my age is and then I do this, my age is 5. You see, age is not here in this class. Age is just, age is just a local variable here. It's local. It's not even, outside. And I'm calling age from another method, so it should give me an error if I don't extend dog. So if I do this, then I get an error. You say age is gone here, age is not good here, print is not good here because I'm not inheriting anything. But if I do inherit, everything changes. Okay? So, guys, I don't know if you understand this crazy thing. I can do the same here and say dog's age is, right? And I get the same thing because all of them are getting the same inheritance from the parent class. Okay, and guys, look at this, how amazing IntelliJ is. It's telling me that dog is extending animal, but at the same time, dog is overridden in Husky. Okay, it's telling me the Husky overrode print, right? Even though I call this guy, but I'm overriding it because I am changing this, right? But when I come here, it tells me that dog overridden this guy. So this method is overriding both dog. It's telling me here dog and husky. So both guys are just overriding that method. Okay. What do you think, guys? What do you think?
That's actually pretty cool.
It's cool, huh?
Yeah, it is. Actually, very good.
So now I'm gonna give someone else the control. Someone else that wants to share their screen so that you can demonstrate inheritance to me. Your own way. Your own way. Not my way, your own way. Okay? So who can share the screen? Who can share the screen? Last time it was Maria. Someone else wants to share the screen today?
I'm good, but I don't have IntelliJ in this machine.
Anand, do you want to go for it? See?
Yeah, I can go, but I won't be able to do it.
What do you have your classmates for?
Huh?
You're not alone, Monkey Jackson. Come on. Share your screen, please. You have some good helpers here.
Okay.
So let's create a class, like probably vehicle or something, and then you create some child classes like BMW or I don't know, Mercedes Benz or Tesla, or I just mentioned good cars. I mean, expensive cars, Bentley or Rolls Royce, something like that. Okay, and then create a few things like different methods, like a constructor in the vehicle class, right? A constructor with several arguments, and then create several methods, and those methods override them in the child classes, right? And then create a main class that calls the method from one class that is uh, the child of one of the previous classes. Let's do it. Remember, like I did, I created a cat, a dog, and husky, right? Husky inherits dog, and dog inherits animal. And I call the method from the husky class. Do the same. Create a class vehicle, a class BMW, a class Mercedes, and a class that is Mercedes C500. And then call the method from that class. Create a main class and instantiate that class BMW or Mercedes-Benz C500. Let's do it. Share the screen, please. Let's do it. Let's just model what I did.
Hey,
with
share
different
the
names.
screen.
You cannot share the screen?
Yeah.
Go ahead and share it now.
New Java class.
Yes. Guys, can we help Mr. Anand?
Do a package first. Down, down. Yeah. Create a package and call it cars.
Not that one, the one before.
Mm.
No, you did a package info.java. It's not package info.java. And of course, you have to create the packet. You have to create the packet from the source folder, not that one. You're creating a package inside a package. Learning Java is a package already. You have to create a package from source. Okay, then you create a package and give it a name. Just give it any name you want. Maybe vehicle package. I don't know. Lowercase, don't forget. Okay. Now, what is the next step?
Java class.
You have your classmates.
Okay, so we're going to create a class, a super class.
Package.
No. Go Java
No, the class, the top one.
Java, the top one. Yeah.
Java.
And then we're going to call it, and this one we're going to be the super class. So we're going to call it, we're doing cars. No. Call it cars. That's it.
Shouldn't it be vehicle? Because the main class.
The package is vehicle. You can call it the super class. You can call it vehicle, but you can call it also class. I'm sorry, cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change the package name back to vehicle. And on the left, right click on the cars. You're gonna rename it. You need to be uppercase when you create a class. See, okay. You have to change it on the left as well. Right click the file on the left on the Explorer area. On the left, all the way to the left. Not in there, on the left.
This is left. Yeah.
No. You see where you have your folder structure, where you say projects on the left? Right click where you say cars.java. That one, right click. Refactor. Go down. No, not there. Refactor. Keep going. No, go back up. You skip it. Keep going. Keep going. This one. Rename file. Call it car, uppercase CAR. No, just the C uppercase. Refactor. And then we move the S over there in a public class. We move the S. Perfect. Now you need a constructor. Public car. Uppercase car. You need parentheses, then curly brackets, open and closing. No, remove that. Outside of the closing, you have to put it outside of the closing parentheses. Go outside, put the parentheses back, and then go outside of it. Okay. Yeah. Press enter. Now you have to add some variables since you need a class variable. So on the line between line 3 and 4, enter a new line. After line 3, enter a new line. Outside of the public card method. Below line 3, add a new line. Private string name or make actually. Private string uppercase S for the string. Make space make. Semicolon. Keep it lowercase for the make. And then you miss semicolon, and then you misspell private. You have to put private. 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 You misspelled it. Okay. You could create another one for model, maybe, or maybe card type. Actually, that'll make more sense. No. You erase that. Press enter for a new line. Private. String. Maybe card type, CAR. Uppercase T. Make the T uppercase. CAR. Type. Card type. I'm sorry, the T, not the C. The T uppercase, just to have comma case. Okay, semicolon. Press enter. Actually, right here, there's a shortcut. You could finish the constructor. You could just generate.
Press enter. Press enter. Press enter, Anand. There you go. You can do an int price. Private. Private int. Go back, Anand. Go back. Back. No. Go back all the way to the back. Yeah, to the beginning of the line 7. Go back all the way, and then type PRB, and then return. No. Back. Return. Okay. Now int for int. Space. You can type car price or just car and price. There you go. You don't have to assign it here. You need a semicolon after the 50,000. Okay, anybody else?
You go ahead and finish the constructor, passing the value you have inside the parentheses for public car. Inside the parentheses, you could pass string make, comma, string car type, comma, string car model, comma, int car price. So you don't need to pass the car price since you set it already. And then you'll say this dot make equal make, and this dot car type equal car type. This dot car model equal car model. Or you could just right click on here, right click, do a right click, generate.
This time machine.
Click constructor and select all of them. Okay. That's the other way to do it. Okay, you could create another method, maybe just like you did with the print, that print something, maybe a message. Anybody can think of a method?
We want to do a sys out. We need to. You can do a print down below. Public. Go down below where it says public car, right there. Now take the car out. You can put print. You can put car info or whatever name you want. Public car info or public car print. Parentheses, and then sys out the make, the car type, the model, and the price. No. Go up where it says car, public car. Take the word car out. And then type print. You can put the word print. And then go to the end of the line, caret return.
Don't forget the return type.
Public string. Put string between public and print. Or void, whatever.
Void.
Void, actually.
Void, no, go back. Void. Public void, return. Okay, good. Go down to the set to line 19. And then cease out. You can type S out, and it will pull the line for you. S out. Return. Carrot return now. There you go. Now we're gonna print the make, the car type, the model, and the price. And I will take the price out from the top line because we're gonna assign it when we pass the type of car. It's make. You can say make on the first part of that, make equal, and then double quote, plus, and then make. Okay. You may want to put some spaces so it's easier to.
It'll be this dot make.
Oh, is this dot make? Oh, there you go. But you know what? It's pulling it from the top.
Yeah, but you don't have a value yet, so.
Oh, okay. Anand, go back to where it says make, plus make, and it will be plus this dot make. Right there. Right there. And then type this dot. There you go. So now do the rest of it. So you're gonna say the double quotes that are empty, you're gonna put car type. Right there, car type equal. And then go next to the plus, and you're going to type this dot car type, and it should pull from the menu dot, and then you're going to be able to, if you use your mouse, you can go down to car type, click on it, and press return. You don't have to type the whole thing. And then plus. The plus. No, plus. Double quote. Sorry. Double quote again. Oh, this thing. A model equal. And then outside of the double quote, put plus and this dot, and then pull down. So you don't have to type the whole thing. Pull down and return. There you go. Return. There you go. And the last one is the price. We won't be able to override the car price, right? If we leave it private here. Can we override the car price? Hello?
You're missing some plus symbols there, Mr. Anand. You see, whenever you see a red line, you're missing a plus symbol.
Yeah.
That's my, yeah, I told him not to put in, but yeah. So after this dot make, there should be a plus. This dot card type, a plus. Mm-hmm. Why do you answer me? So if we set the car price to 50,000 here, can we override it later if it's private?
I think you could set the price when you create when you extend it from a different class. You just have to set the value when you instantiated the other class that's gonna extend car.
Yeah, but he already set the price to 50,000, right? Here as a private variable. So if we go to another class, are we going to be able to override this car price that he has here?
Oh, I think so, but I guess at that point we'll need some getters and setters, maybe.
And
Hmm.
if you have private int line 7 equals 50,000, you don't need line 13. So
yeah, that's right.
That is redundant. You already have a value in car price, so
I
you don't need
wouldn't
to.
set the Anand, I wouldn't set the price car price here, because depending on the I'm missing an L, model, car model, and then semicolon. There you go. Okay, did we finish the result that we were constructing? This make, this car type, this car model, and the price. You need to call the price. So the car price equals plus, and then you call car price.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Without this,
Okay.
right?
No, I did. Now I see. Sorry, I have it set up so I can zoom in to see better the letters. Yeah, that's good. You're good. And then you have a space. You have it's not gonna do anything. You're missing a plus at the end of this card price if you want to have an empty space.
You need to terminate the statement with a semicolon.
You need a semicolon too. Yeah. So it's showing you need a return statement. Outside,
I believe void should be lowercase. Public void print.
Yep. I think you're running something else.
You're running animal tests. You need to.
Yeah. He doesn't have one.
Anyway, for you to point anything, you'll need the main method, which you don't have here.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say move on, create another class so you could extend car.
So click on vehicle, right click on vehicle, create a new class. Click. And what are we gonna call this?
Maybe SUV.
An SUV. Oh, that's a sedan, an SUV. And then you're gonna extend public class SUV extend to car. Next to SUV, space, extend. No, the word extend. EX, no, extend. It showed it showed it on the back. One more, back one more, back. Delete the P. There you go. No, one more. Now type X. Oh, there you go, right there. Click. And then car. I think you have to put uppercase. There you go. Click. Is that good? What am I missing? Oh, the parentheses.
Actually, what you're missing is that you have to just put this super constructor. You have to create a constructor.
Oh, that's it.
You use parentheses. That's not a method. That's a class. So remove the parentheses and create a constructor so that you can call the super constructor from the super class. Just hit enter after the first parentheses, after the first curly braces. Hit enter.
Okay.
Create a constructor.
No.
Create a constructor. Just it's just public and the name of the class.
Public. SUV. Like the other one, look at the car. You'll see.
SUV with uppercase. S.
Yeah, SUV. The same way that you typed it on the top. There you go.
You have to put open and closing parentheses.
It's the constructor, mister.
And then curly braces.
Return.
And then super.
And then super.
So see what you're passing. No, just up, lowercase. See what are the arguments that the constructor of the superclass has.
Like the car class. The next, yeah.
Okay, just copy the entire thing. What is inside car? No. What is inside the constructor?
So you see where it says string, make, string, car type, string?
No, not the entire thing. What is inside the arguments?
Inside the parentheses, yeah.
Right there. Yes, exactly. Yeah, all the way to the end. A copy without the parentheses. Yeah. And then copy. And then pass it here.
Or you have to remove the type. Okay. You will have to remove the type.
Yeah.
Just paste.
Yes.
I'll
and
remove
then
the type.
Remove the
take
type
out,
and strings.
yeah, take the string and the int and the int out. Just delete string.
No,
No, no, no.
Car type. Write it again. It's not car, it's car type. Uppercase T, YP.
Then you're gonna take out the word string on hold that, delete. Okay.
The next one.
The next string right there. The next string, and then the int.
Something is wrong.
Now we have to set some values, no?
remove the spaces, mister. You have a lot of spaces there. You still have an error there. You have to have all those guys. Now, paste inside the parentheses after sub.
After SUV on the top, inside the parentheses, and no, on the top. No, right there. Click. There you go.
Paste. Okay, then you don't have any more errors. Okay? No, you don't have to do that. Inside the constructor, you have to leave the type. Okay, that's fine. Now you're okay. Now you can add your own ones if you want to add more. If you want to add more, you can add more, right? So there you go. You have your first child class created. Okay.
So now it's a SUV that is a type of car, and it has a make, a car type, a car model, and a car price.
Mm-hmm.
So in here, you can set the make, the car type, the car model, and the car price, or you can create another car, another class, right? Help me out, guys, here. You can set another class called an SUV, Lexus what? RX 350.
Maybe a truck.
Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a truck.
Maybe it's what?
A truck.
Oh, maybe a truck. Oh, that could be another class. So vehicle, click on vehicle. Left.
In the side menu.
Right there.
New class.
Yeah, we're gonna call it a truck. All right. Okay. Who wants to tell Anand what to do?
Public class truck.
And who are we extending?
Extend cars again. After extends. the line above on the line 3 after extends cars.
You have to put a space between extend and car. And we move the open and the closing parentheses you have next to it. You have to remove the parentheses. You don't need those. Delete the parentheses. Yeah. That's it. So now you just need a constructor. That will be public truck.
Truck.
And you're going to do the same thing that you did with the SUV.
So what I would do, I would copy the constructor you have an SUV and then just rename it truck. That'll make life easy.
Yep.
No, from line 6 to all the way to line 4. Copy line from line 6 to line 4.
You mean from 4 to 6?
Yes, that too.
Copy from line 4, to line 6.
Copy.
And then go back to truck. And then highlight.
Remove everything there.
Highlight public to truck and then paste. There you go. Now change SUV to truck. And if we want, we can add a new argument here called motor type. And truck all the way at the end after car price. Comma after car price. Comma. And then you can say string. Uppercase S. Space. Motor type. F-150, you know. What is it? Hemi. Okay, I think we need to do something down. We need to do something else. I can't remember.
We should change this, right? Car type, truck type, truck model, truck price.
We need to define model the motor. Amir, how do you do that? Is it Amir speaking? Amir was speaking, right? Or was it Luis? Hello. Okay, Professor. Need help?
What?
So we added something new to truck. String model type, but we have to define it. Do we do it before public truck?
You could do this model type equal model type.
No, what you have to do now is create another class that extends truck. And then just like we did with Husky, that extends dog. And just instantiate the class, the class that extends truck, instantiate it in the main class, and then you're gonna see how.
No, but we have a new argument called model type, and we have to define it somehow, right?
So do we need to create new main class and around public static void main string arguments there and put the new definition for the engine type. What is the last one we have? Model type in the new main class.